Mom, I can't go on living like this with Tom and his mom constantly hovering over me. Barely letting me eat, suddenly an SOS call came from my once cheerful daughter, Ilana. Ilana, come back home. I instinctively shouted. Ilana had become worryingly thin. I won't forgive Tom and his mother, I resolved with determination. I'm Jenna, a 50-year-old housewife. My husband, Harry, is 52 and works for a company. Our daughter is turning 26, and after graduating from college, she landed a job at a major corporation. Starting to live alone, Harry and I were enjoying our life as a couple after Ilana moved out. Although Ilana was successful in her job, she was shy around men and hesitant in relationships. So, when she got a boyfriend, Harry and I were overjoyed. Harry kept urging Ilana to bring him over, saying, "What's he like? Bring him home sometime." I cautioned Harry, "Honey, don't push her. She'll introduce him when she's ready. Let's wait patiently." Ilana just smiled. Soon, Ilana said she'd bring Tom over. I complained to Tom. She playfully told Harry, "Dad, you kept insisting." So, I complained to Tom. He agreed to come over to meet you but said, "Don't say anything weird to Tom, okay?" Harry was visibly delighted when Tom came to greet us. Harry and I were nervous. However, Tom's friendly conversation soon eased our tension. Tom introduced himself to Harry and me. "Hello, I'm Tom Smith, and I'm seriously dating Ilana with the intention of marrying her." Eliana blushed and said, "Marrying me? You're embarrassing me. You said it was just a casual greeting." Harry happily told Ilana, "No, it's great that he's thinking about the future. Tom, I entrust Ilana to you." Their relationship progressed smoothly with our blessing, and Tom proposed formally 5 months later. Seeing a blushing but happy Ilana made both Harry and me very happy. I heard Tom worked for a major bank systems company. Harry and I discussed how their future seemed secure as wedding preparations began. Eliana frequently sought advice, and one day she asked me, "Hey, Mom, how much is the market price for a wedding ring?" Tom is planning to buy one for about $10,000. Surprised, I replied, "For wedding rings, maybe about $2,500 each for the couple. I've heard engagement rings are around $3,500. Eliana seemed a bit uneasy. "Right, I thought so too," she said. After asking around and reading magazines, I felt Tom's sense of money was odd. However, when Ilana said, "Tom insists it's a once-in-a-lifetime thing and wants me to have something nice," I conveniently interpreted it as Tom wanting to give her a special gift. After some time, the two moved out of their bachelor's residence and into a condominium in New York. The area was very expensive but very convenient for commuting. I was a little concerned and said to Ilana, "Hey, Ilana, the area you and Tom live in must be pretty expensive to rent, right? Are you going to be able to afford the monthly payments?" She reassured me, "Don't worry, Mom. Tom's working hard and earns a decent salary too. His job requires living near the bank. Tom is a systems engineer at a bank systems company. If there is a problem, Tom needs to rush to the site, even in the middle of the night. That's why the location had to be close to the bank. Apparently, Tom's company gives a substantial housing allowance, so we're fine. Don't worry, Mom." Not fully understanding the company's situation, I nodded. I simply accepted it as the way things were. Months passed, and I invited Ilana for lunch. Before her marriage, Ilana and I used to frequently enjoy lunch outings together. However, after her marriage, when I extended the invitation, she often declined, citing work commitments or prior plans. Harry suggested that perhaps she was just busy with her new married life, but it didn't feel like Ilana was simply occupied. Over the phone, Eliana agreed to join me for lunch the following Saturday, mentioning that Tom would be on a business trip. "Sure, Mom, I can make it. I'll find a place for us," she said. I was thrilled at the prospect of having lunch with my daughter after half a year. When I finally saw Alana, she appeared somewhat pale. Concerned, I asked her what was wrong and suggested she'd take it easy if she wasn't feeling well. "No, I'm fine," Eliana reassured me. "I've just been tired from overtime lately. Plus, lunch with you might be just what I need to unwind." She managed a weak smile, and we enjoyed a good chat for about 2 hours. Suddenly, Ilana's phone rang, and she looked shocked when she saw the display. She told me, "Mom, I have to go home already. Tom's mother is calling." Eliana explained that Ivy, Tom's mother, was at their place. Surprised, I apologized for keeping her during such a busy time, and she hurriedly left. Another half passed, and during this time, something terrible happened to Ilana. I learned about it from a phone call from her. It was a sad day, and Harry and I were enjoying our day off while I was making tea. My phone rang, displaying Ilana's name. I quickly answered, but Ilana seemed hesitant. "Mom, it's me," she began. Hi. I. She struggled to continue, sensing her distress. I asked, "What's the matter? Did something happen?" Eliana remained silent for a while, and I patiently waited for her to speak. Eventually, she said, "Ma, I can't live like this anymore. Tom and his mom barely let me eat. I might not survive if this continues." Shocked, I listened intently, my heart sinking at her words. "Are you okay? It sounds like things are really bad. Why don't you come back home?" I asked Ilana, concerned. She seemed undecided. I firmly told her, "If you're feeling unwell, you can just sit around, Ellie. Come back home. We'll talk it over when you get here." Ilana responded, "Really? Can I come back? But I don't have any money. I can't leave." I thought this was strange. Ilana was earning a decent salary, but there was no time for a long discussion. Her situation sounded serious. "First, I need to meet with Ilana to see how she is doing," I told myself. "Take only your valuables with you and leave the house. There's a convenience store near your apartment, right? I will drive there and pick you up. Wait for me there." I instructed Ilana, who agreed, sobbing. Harry and I hurried to the convenience store. When we arrived, Ilana was crouched in the parking lot. Mom, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done this," she said, breaking down into tears. I hugged Ilana, and together with Harry, we helped her into the car. She was terribly thin and almost gray in complexion. What could have happened to her? I was astonished. "I'll not be able to come down here. Let's take her home soon and give her a good rest." "We need to talk to Tom," Harry said. I agree. "Yes, right now letting Ilana rest is our top priority," I responded. When we arrived home, Ilana, possibly due to exhaustion, immediately fell asleep on the sofa. After she woke up, I served her some easy-to-eat food. She ate viciously in front of us. She must have been very hungry. It was shocking to hear her stories about not being allowed to eat and having no money. "What do you mean you're not allowed to eat?" I asked. Ilana explained, "My salary is lower than Tom's, so Tom and his mom, Ivy, keep telling me to save more. Gradually, my food portions were reduced." "Really? But you're making the food, right? Because you're a married couple, and you eat the same food, right?" I inquired. Ilana shook her head. "No. For the past 6 months, Ivy has been cooking Tom's meals. I'm not even allowed in the kitchen," she explained. Harry asked, "Ivy is in your house?" This is the first time I'm hearing about this. Does this mean Ivy is staying there all the time? Alana continued. Since then, Ivy has been criticizing my budgeting, saying it's all wrong and that I can't manage money at all. After Ivy criticized the budget, she took control of the household finances. Moreover, Tom did not oppose Ivy at all and instead joined her in blaming me. Now, I'm controlling Tom's and my entire salary, Alana said. Ivy saw Alana's pay slip and demanded she work more, including overtime, Eliana told us. Tom also told Alana, yes, that's right. I agree with more overtime. It's nice to have my mom doing the housework. You're lucky, Alana. Ivy scrutinized Alana's pay slips, always looking for unnecessary expenses. Eventually, she found something else to criticize, the cafeteria deductions. Ilana's company has a cafeteria, and lunch costs are deducted from her salary. Ivy told Ilana, you're spending too much on lunch. I'll make you a lunchbox from now on. Stop eating at the cafeteria, Ilana said. My attempts to argue were met with attacks from both Ivy and Tom. Whenever I try to speak up, Ivy and Tom gang up on me. It never ends up being a calm discussion, she confided. My thoughts are suppressed by Ivy and Tom. Now, Tom and Ivy control all of my salary, leaving me with almost no money of my own. When I wanted to go to the hair salon, Ivy called it extravagant and reluctantly gave me money. Ivy also complained about my makeup being too expensive, telling me to buy cheaper products. Ilana can't even buy new clothes, but Ivy never complains about Tom's spending. Ilana began to sob as she recalled these painful events. Then, Ilana's phone rang. She flinched and turned pale. I instinctively answered the phone for her. It was Ivy. So, isn't this Eliana's phone? Why is Johnny answering? Ivy asked. I replied, hello. It's been a while. Eliana is not feeling well. I can talk to you on her behalf. Ivy said, is that so? Well, all right. Could you tell Eliana to come back home soon? Unfortunately, I can't do that. Eliana is unwell. She'll stay here until she recovers, I responded. Ivy retorted, you're coddling her too much. As a mother, you should educate her properly. She can't manage a budget or do household chores. It's always one problem after another. Struggling to find the right words, I remained silent. Then Ivy changed the topic, asking, so, Eliana will be commuting to work from your home? I replied, yes. Considering her health, we'll need to discuss this with her company. But for now, she'll be commuting from here. Ivy then said, please tell Eliana to return as soon as she's well. Ivy, excuse me, but I think it's necessary for us, including Ethan, to have a discussion about the future living arrangements, I responded. Ivy snorted and said, fine. We can talk anytime, before hanging up. I couldn't understand why Ivy was so confident, but at least Eliana was safe for now. We needed to focus on her health, feelings, and plan our next steps. That night, after Eliana went to sleep, Harry and I discussed the situation. The next day, Eliana was examined at a hospital. As expected, she was underweight and not sleeping well. After talking with her, we decided she should take a leave of absence from work. She enjoyed my cooking, saying it was delicious. I asked her, what were you eating while living with Tom? What kind of meals did Ivy prepare for you? Ilana said, my mother-in-law only cooks for Tom and herself. I always had bread ends from a local bakery. They sell bread ends very cheaply. That's what I used to eat. I was shocked. Eliana had been deprived of proper meals while Ivy and Tom ate normally. Just bread ends. Since when? What about your lunchbox? Didn't I prepare that too? I asked. Ilana replied, I should have been stopped from eating at the company cafeteria by Ivy. Since 3 months ago, my lunchbox was just bread ends in a container. Feeling embarrassed, I resorted to eating secretly in the break room when no one was around. Eliana confided that Ivy would taunt her about not earning as much as Tom, insinuating that with her salary, bread ends were all she deserved. She had been surviving on just bread ends for 3 months. I was shocked, and Harry, who overheard everything, couldn't hide his surprise. Eliana, tired from sharing, lay down to rest. Harry expressed concern, this is serious. We need to investigate further. If Tom or Ivy calls again, give me some time to gather more information. I agreed, yes, I think this is going too far. Harry and I began looking into Eliana's circumstances. I started by calling her work colleagues, who mentioned that recently, Eliana had been doing a lot of overtime and looked pale. She often declined after-work drinks, citing her husband and meals as reasons. Harry also spoke to Eliana's boss, who commented, I've been concerned about Eliana lately because she's been doing too much overtime. She seemed desperate to work. Eliana is so conscientious. Maybe she's been pushing herself too hard. I hope she recovers soon and comes back to us. Thanks to her boss's initiative, Eliana was granted sickness allowance by her company. It was 2/3 of her salary, and we were grateful to receive it. We decided to have the sickness allowance paid into a different account from her usual salary account. 2 weeks after Ilana returned home, Tom called. He insisted that Eliana should be well by now. When I looked at Harry, he answered the phone. Harry humbly requested Tom, Ilana is not fully recovered yet. Please let her rest for another week. Tom told Harry over the phone, I guess there's no choice. Just 1 more week, okay, and then hung up. I protested to Harry, but she needs at least 3 more weeks to recover, and we don't know what they'll do to her if she goes back. Harry reassured me, don't worry. We won't stick to the 1-week timeline. They've treated her terribly, and we have a plan. He then asked Ilana, what do you want to do? If you want to try again with Tom, we won't stop you. But if you want to leave him, we'll support you. Ilana suddenly became resolute, saying, I've been thinking. Am I really as useless as Ivy and Tom say? This isn't right. They're just taking my money. I don't want this anymore. I want a divorce, Eliana declared. Harry encouraged her, saying, that's right. You've chosen your path. We'll always be on your side. Harry shared the information he had gathered with us as we prepared for the possibility of Tom coming over, ready to handle the situation. 1 week passed, and we didn't contact Tom. 9 days later, Tom and Ivy came to visit. When the doorbell rang, I checked the intercom and informed Eliana and Harry. Harry suggested, let's talk to them directly and settle this. Eliana nodded in agreement. Opening the door, we found Tom and Ivy glaring at us. Calming myself, I greeted them warmly, hello. What brings you here so suddenly? Tom demanded, why hasn't Ilana returned home? It's been a week. Ivy chimed in, that's right. You can do your chores, you can do your laundry, and you can even keep your promise to come home. What a mess you are, parents and children are helpless. I invited them in, saying, let's not talk in the doorway. Please come inside. Reluctantly, they entered. Eliana told them firmly, I won't return to that house, Tom. Please, let's divorce. I can't live with you anymore. Tom threatened loudly, you think you can just decide that? But Eliana stood her ground, facing Tom with resolve. Ivy then berated Eliana for 6 months. I did all the housework and supported Tom, while you neglected your duties, Eliana told Ivy. It's not that I didn't do the chores. Whenever I did, you would criticize my methods and take over the tasks, didn't you? Ivy retorted. How dare you speak to me like that after making me work so hard? You should be ashamed, Ivy responded. It's not right, my mother helped because you couldn't handle the chores, allowing you to focus on work, Ethan joined in. That's when Harry shouted at them, what nonsense. You took Alana's salary and fed her only bread ends. Your actions are the worst kind of abuse. They were shocked by Harry's outburst. Tom, you have been fired from your company. I checked your employment status. You don't have the power to continue paying the rent on that apartment anymore, do you? Tom began to look uneasy. I didn't know until Dad told me, Eliana added. I hired a detective to find out. Tom, you were fired 6 months ago for an affair with your boss's wife, Harry continued. You pushed me to work because you lost your job and income, Eliana accused Tom. Tom turned pale and hung his head. Then Harry confronted Ivy, you have a shopping addiction. And that's right, you didn't leave your home due to a fight, but because you were divorced and had nowhere to go. Ivy lost composure and turned pale. Tom is being sued for alimony and Ivy is being chased by debt collectors. They were trying to pass their debts on to Alana. Trembling with anger, Ilana placed a piece of paper on the desk. Once and for all, let's divorce. I filled out half of the divorce form. You complete it and submit it to the authorities. We'll communicate through lawyers from now on. Prostrating at Alana's feet on the carpet, Tom pleaded, please don't say we should divorce. It was just a moment of madness. I was wrong to hide it from you. You're all I have, Alana. I'm so sorry, please forgive me, Tom pleaded, while Ivy, also appealing to Alana, cried, I did all the housework and took care of everything, didn't I? I'm sorry. Please come back. I'll keep doing the chores. Ilana, looking at Tom and Ivy coldly, said, I'm fed up. Who would want to start over with you two? You hid what you did and exploited my salary. I don't want to see your faces. Tom and Ivy were unable to move from their spot, crying inconsolably. Harry sternly told them, the conversation is over. It's time for you to leave. If you don't, we have our ways to deal with it. Reluctantly, Tom and Ivy stood up and left our home defeated. Afterward, with a lawyer's help, Eliana and Ethan officially divorced. Of course, we filed for alimony from Tom. In addition to hiding his affair, we also added the fact that Tom did not provide adequate meals to Alana in the alimony claim. We had a doctor's diagnosis which served as conclusive evidence against Tom. Tom had to move out of the apartment and live in a cheaper one with Ivy. Now, he works day and night to pay the alimony to Alana, and Ivy, not working, has become the target of Tom's anger, and they constantly fight. Our lawyer informed us about Ethan and Ivy's current situation. Alana fully recovered and returned to work. She seems to be enjoying her work more than ever. She apologized to me and Harry, saying, I'm sorry for being a divorcee and coming back home. Thank you for all your help with the divorce. I'll be staying here for a while. I hugged her, saying, divorce doesn't matter. The fact that you're alive and well is all that matters to us. Harry added, don't overdo it. You're a hard worker, and sometimes you keep things to yourself too much. Alana admitted, I should have talked to you both sooner. I tried to handle too much on my own. Seeing Alana's smile return was truly heartwarming, and Harry, who stood by us and fought against Tom and Ivy, proved to be incredibly reliable. I felt for him all over again. When I told him, he joked, then how about showing your gratitude with food? Make my favorite pork cutlets tonight as a family. We've overcome difficulties and will surely face more in the future, but with Harry and Alana by my side, I want to support each other as a family.